Hi guys, welcome back to Learn with Nia. Now, if you're trying to grow your YouTube channel, you've probably heard that thumbnails are hugely important, and for good reason. Your thumbnail is the first thing that people see when they come across your video, and it plays a big role in whether or not those people will click on your video. So today we're going to dive into how to optimize your YouTube thumbnails to boost your click-through rate and get more views. So let's face it, no matter how great your content is, if your thumbnail doesn't stand out, it can be difficult to get noticed. But with the right techniques, you can turn your thumbnails into a powerful tool that helps drive clicks and views. So you might ask me, Nia, why are YouTube thumbnails so important? As long as I've got something on there, isn't that good enough? And people are going to just click on it anyway? Well, let's think about it. When you're scrolling through YouTube, what grabs your attention first? It's usually the thumbnail. Sometimes you don't even need to read the title. If the thumbnail is eye-catching, then you'll probably click on it. Thumbnails are like little advertising boards for your videos. So if they're not attention-grabbing, then you could be missing out on a load of potential views. So studies have shown that videos with custom thumbnails, as opposed to the thumbnails that YouTube will just generate for you from your video, custom thumbnails will get up to 40% more clicks than those without one. And that is massive. 40%, wow. That means you could be losing 40% of your potential viewers just by having bad thumbnails. So how do you create a good thumbnail and how do you drive those clicks? So here are my top tips for designing thumbnails that work. So the first thing you need to do is use bold, high contrast colours. Thumbnails with bright colours stand out in YouTube's feed, especially when they're sitting there next to a load of other videos. So you could try using colours that pop, something like a bright red, bright yellow, bright blue, but just make sure that the colours match your brand style and that they don't clash. Otherwise everything will look just disjointed on your channel. So my other tip would be keep text to a minimum, but make sure it's readable. So you want to add just enough text to grab attention, but not too much that it clutters the thumbnail. Because there's nothing worse than a thumbnail that's just full of text. You can't really make out what it's about because there's too much to read and you flick past it before you even know it. So aim for a few powerful words that explain what your video is about. So something like easy tips or big growth or grow your channel or 1,000 subscribers today or 1,000 subscribers in 30 days. Or in the words of Nike, just do it. So you want to make sure the font is large enough to read, even on mobile, because let's face it, loads of people watch YouTube on their mobile. So if they're flicking through all the thumbnails, they want to be able to see what your text is on your thumbnail. My third tip would be to use high quality images. So your thumbnail is the first impression people get of your channel. So you need to make it count. Try not to use blurry or pixelated images because it seems really unprofessional. You can take a clear shot from your video if you want to, or just take a new photo that represents your content, or a photo of you posing in a certain way. Something similar. Okay, my fourth tip would be to use your face in your thumbnail. If you use your face on your channel in your videos, then my tip would be put your face on that content. And the reason for this is that it creates that emotional connection. People are naturally drawn to human faces. And research that I've looked at has shown that thumbnails with faces actually do perform better. So whether it's a smiling shot of you or an expression that matches the emotion of a video, faces do actually help build an emotional connection with potential viewers. My fifth tip would be try to be consistent with your style. So over time, as you build your channel, your viewers will come to recognise your thumbnails. So they'll recognise the design elements you use in your thumbnails and they'll know it's you straight away. Before they even read anything, their brain will kick into action and think, oh yes, that's whatever your channel is. So try to stick to a consistent colour scheme, font and layout so that your thumbnails feel like part of your brand. So now let's have a look at some tools for designing thumbnails. Now, as some of you know, I like to use Canva to design my thumbnails these days. I used to use Photoshop many years ago when I had a small channel, and it used to take quite a while to make the thumbnails. I was happy with the thumbnails and they had a great theme running through them, but wow, did it take a long time. Whereas now with Canva, you can come up with the thumbnail in 5 minutes. I've got a link to Canva in the description if you're interested in trying it. You can try the Pro version, but if you'd rather use something like Photoshop, if you're used to using that, then go ahead and use Photoshop. Alternatively, if you're prepared to invest a bit in designing your thumbnails, then you could go to Fiverr and get someone to design thumbnails for you. But what you need to remember, you don't need to be a graphic designer yourself to create a good thumbnail. So things like Canva, there's also Adobe Spark. Both of these offer easy to use templates that can literally help you create brilliant thumbnails in a matter of minutes. The good thing about using these tools is that they'll come in preset dimensions ready for YouTube. So you don't have to worry about getting the size right, the resolution right, or anything like that. Everything is done for you. If you're looking for something more advanced, then you could use Photoshop or GIMP. These programs do give you a bit more control over your design, but they are more advanced to use. So if you're not used to using a design program, then I would recommend using something like Canva or Adobe Spark. And I have made a video on designing a thumbnail in Canva, and that will be here. So if you want to watch that next, you can watch it next. So once you've made your thumbnail, how do you test it? How do you improve it? Well, it's best not to just make one thumbnail and forget about it, because over time you might want to test different versions of your thumbnails, because then you can see which one performs better. So some YouTubers use A/B testing with tools like TubeBuddy. Link below to try that if you want to. By doing this, they can see then which thumbnail gets more clicks. And as you try different thumbnails, you can see then which version is working better and keep using the one that works the best. But if another thumbnail isn't performing very well, you could try tweaking it, try changing the design slightly and put it on, change the thumbnail and see if it works better. And you can keep doing this as many times as you want to try and get more views. So let's quickly go over a few common mistakes that you should definitely avoid when designing your thumbnails. So avoid cluttered text. Don't overload your thumbnail with too many words. Avoid misleading thumbnails. So always make sure your thumbnail accurately reflects the content of your video. And avoid poor contrast. Don't use dull colours that'll just blend into the background. They just won't stand out. So there we go. Those are my tips for creating thumbnails that will grab attention and ultimately more clicks. If you want to see an increase in your CTR and more views, make sure you're following these tips to design your thumbnails with purpose. If you found this video helpful, remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Drop a comment below and let me know what your current thumbnail strategy is and is it working? And as always, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Good luck designing your thumbnails. Keep creating, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next one.